Hey guys, welcome to our weekly news show here on Backstage with Millionaires. I'm Caleb, your host, and we've got an exciting show planned for you guys this week. But before we jump into it, as you can probably tell, this setup is a little bit different from the setting that I normally film in. I'm currently on vacation, and unfortunately, we did face some problems in the filming process of this video. Basically, the file sizes were too big, and the internet connection at my Airbnb was a little bit too slow. So this video is going to be a little bit different from the average Backstage with Millionaires news episode. I hope that's okay. And hopefully by next week, we'll get things back up and running the way that you're used to them being. But rest assured, we will be covering all of the Indian startup news this week, including Log9 Materials and their Rapid X batteries, which they're going to be putting into Hero electric scooters. We're also going to be talking about the Ola S1 and S1 Pro finally shipping, but with a couple of caveats. And also in the crypto space, Polygon's latest acquisition, and more coming up right after this. All right, so first up in the news, earlier this year, we talked about how Log9 Materials was developing an interesting kind of battery called a supercapacitor battery. Now, they're calling these batteries Rapid X, and they're a little bit different from lithium-ion batteries because they're actually able to be charged in 15 minutes, which is very atypical for electric vehicle batteries. They also have a lifespan of 10 years, and they started piloting these batteries with a couple of different companies, including Amazon, Vogo, Delivery, and Shadowfax. But now they've finally settled on their first client, their first customer, Hero Electric. And Hero Electric is going to be using these batteries in all of their electric scooters moving forward. Now, obviously, it's a little bit too early to say at this point whether or not these batteries are going to be a massive disruptor or whether it's just going to be a short-term technology fad that sort of fizzles out after a couple of different companies adopt it, like Hero Electric and maybe a couple of others. But I would love to see Log9 Materials actually manufacturing these batteries at scale, and for India's entire EV industry, or at least the two-wheeler EV industry, adopt these batteries, because lithium is scarce in India and it has to be imported from other countries. So having this supercapacitor technology would actually give India's EV sector a bit of a leg up. And who knows, maybe with time, if Log9 Materials is able to capture the Indian market, then these batteries might even have a shot of going global and becoming an internationally disruptive technology. So I'm curious to know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below and let me know whether you think this is just going to be a short-term thing that fizzles out, or whether you think this is going to be an internationally disruptive technology. All right, next up in the news, after multiple delays, Ola Electric has finally started shipping the S1 and S1 Pro electric scooters to customers in Bengaluru and Chennai who have been waiting for months. But unfortunately, there's a couple of caveats here. These scooters are not going to be shipping with features like cruise control, voice commands, and Bluetooth. Now, the company has said that at a later date, they will be providing these features using an over-the-air software update, but this obviously isn't the ideal scenario. Customers have already waited a long time for these electric scooters, and now it looks like even once they have the scooters in hand, they're not going to be able to have the full experience that they were promised. Now, I don't know how many of you guys who are watching this video right now are gamers. I'm sure that a certain percentage of you guys are, and I personally like to play games, so shout out to all the gamers in our audience. But I'm drawing some parallels here between the international games industry, the state that that industry is in, and what we're seeing here with Ola Electric. For example, Cyberpunk 2077, Fallout 76, No Man's Sky. These games had a lot of hype. People were very excited about them, the same way that people were excited about the S1 and the S1 Pro. And the developers of these games made a lot of promises the same way that Ola Electric did. But then there was a delay. The game got pushed. The S1 and the S1 Pro were going to be delivered in December instead of October, as was initially promised. And then the game is released and people have it in their hands. And that's when they start to notice that the game is full of bugs and glitches, and a lot of the features that were initially promised just aren't there. And the developers apologize and they say that yes, those features will be patched in at a later date. There will be a software update where people can actually get some of these features that were initially promised. And we're seeing the same thing happening with the S1 and the S1 Pro, where Ola Electric is shipping the scooter, but it's not finished. Just the way in the international games industry, games are often shipped before they're finished. And I really hope that this doesn't become a trend, but at the same time, electric vehicles now are becoming more and more dependent upon software. And I'm actually really curious to know everybody's thoughts on this, so do leave a comment down below. I think that there's a debate to be had here. Does this have the potential to become a trend? Does this have the potential to become something that is expected, the way that gamers expect at this point game developers to not release core features of the game until after launch? Or is this just a one-off? Is this Ola Electric dropping the ball and this isn't going to happen again and everybody's going to learn from Ola Electric's mistakes and India's EV industry is going to be perfectly fine moving forward? I'd love to get your thoughts on this in a comment down below, so do leave a comment and let's chat. All right, moving on to some acquisition news now. Indian Ethereum-based Layer 2 scaling solution Polygon has acquired another Ethereum-based scaling startup, Mir, or I'm not really sure how to pronounce it, in a deal worth $400 million. So one thing that I think a lot of people now know about the Ethereum network is that it's slow and expensive. That's one of its biggest limitations. And that's also one of the reasons why so many people flock to Solana, which is faster and more affordable. But Polygon has been trying to solve this problem for the Ethereum network for a long time now. And with this acquisition, they're going to be able to do that even better. But how is that actually going to happen? Well, Mir has built a solution, a ZK-proof solution, or a zero-knowledge proof solution. So typically when you transact with Ethereum, there's knowledge involved. To verify that transaction, there are details, there's information that is required in order for that transaction to be verified, and that makes it safer. But it also slows the process down. So Mir has built a solution where there's no knowledge required. There's just this tiny little piece of proof, and that's it. It takes 170 milliseconds to verify the transaction, and then the transaction can be approved, which is really fast compared to the typical Ethereum network transactions. Now, some of you guys might remember that this isn't actually Polygon's first acquisition of 2021. Back in August, we had also covered how Polygon acquired Ethereum-based scaling protocol Hermes. So Polygon is hard at work growing organically and inorganically to improve the situation for people using Ethereum on a regular basis. And it's really cool to see that happening out of India. All right, moving on to some funding news now. Mohala Tech, the parent company of Indian language social media platform Sharechat and short video app Moj, has raised $266 million in a funding round led by Alkian Capital at a $3.7 billion valuation, which is up from their July of 2021 valuation of $2.88 billion. So combined, Sharechat and Moj have a user base of 340 million people, and they also have a higher number of monthly active users than any other player in this space. They are the market leader when it comes to Indian language social media. They're going to be using these funds to invest in AI and ML technology, to strengthen their social and live commerce features, and also to just generally enhance the experience for their users. All right, next up in the funding news, B2B agritech startup Ninjacart has raised $145 million from Flipkart and Amazon at a $700 million valuation, which is up from their previous valuation of $500 million. So Ninjacart offers a platform for farmers to sell their produce directly to businesses like retailers and restaurants. And of course, Ninjacart also handles the logistics, the delivery of this produce as well. The platform is currently being used by more than 100,000 farmers across 150 villages. And Ninjacart is going to be using these funds to improve their technology, upgrade their infrastructure, and optimize their supply chain. Also, Flipkart is planning on using Ninjacart to expand their grocery delivery service to 2,000 cities and towns by the middle of 2022. All right, next up in the funding news, fintech startup Uni has raised $70 million in a funding round led by General Catalyst at a $350 million valuation, which is a 7x jump from their 2020 valuation of $45 million. So Uni offers a pay later card that allows their customers to split their bills into 3 parts, and they can pay those bills off over the course of 3 months without any additional charges. So far, Uni has dispersed credit worth 175 crore rupees, but they're planning to increase that number to 1,500 crore rupees by next year. And they're going to be using these funds to launch 4 new products over the next 4 months, including a credit card. All right, next up in the funding news, digital payments platform Juspay has raised $60 million in a funding round led by SoftBank's Vision Fund 2 at a $460 million valuation, which is up from their previous valuation of $140 million. So Juspay offers a payment gateway, enabling merchants to seamlessly accept digital payments from their customers. And they process more than 1 million of these transactions every single day. They're going to be using these funds to invest in technology and product development to scale their digital payments business. All right, that is all the startup news that I have for you guys this week. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something from it as always. And if you did, it would mean a lot to us if you could hit the like button, share this video with a friend or two. And also, if you haven't already subscribed, now would be a great time to do so. We post new videos every single week about Indian startups, entrepreneurs, and the latest news. Also, big thanks to all of our Backstage with Millionaires members, our unicorns, our decacorns, and our hectacorns. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for your financial support. It really helps us out, and it also means a lot to us. All right, thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Backstage with Millionaires, and I will see you in the next one.